to join us shortly for item number 14. Item number, and I believe Blair Bradley from the Bureau of Contract Administration will be on the line, Julia, for item number 14. Should you need any assistance or to respond to any questions from the board relative to contracting? Great, thank you, Blair, for joining us this morning. I'll move on quickly to item number 15, Arsen Vaskirchian and Winnie Lamb. Winnie, good morning to you. I see you on the line. Oh, don't see you anymore. Let's see, I think you raised your hand. There you are. Or lowered hand again. Winnie, hold on. Don't change it around on me. You're making it more difficult. All right, I think I got you now, Winnie. You should receive that invitation to join us. So that was item number 15. Item number 16, 17, and 18, Bernadette Halverson. Bernadette, good morning to you. I will send you the invitation for item number 16, 17, and 18. Item number 19, Gary Lamb. Good morning to you, Gary. You should receive that invitation to join us for item number 19. Item number 20, Uri Jimenez and Janelle Para. I believe, Janelle, you're on the line. I do not see Uri on the line, so I'm assuming you're going to go ahead and take the lead on that one. Again, this is item number 20, Janelle Para. And item number 21, from the Bureau of Engineering, we'll have Greg Vandergriff. From the Bureau of Street Services, Martha Iniguez. From the Bureau of Sanitation, Nancy Lanton. From the Bureau of Street Services, Jessica Lopez. And is anyone on the line from the Bureau of Street Lighting?
Hey, Fernando, I'll be doing item 21 as well.
21, you're going to do 21? Okay.
Yes.
Thanks, Ruben. Perfect. I believe I have all the presenters on the line for the Bureau representatives, Nicholas Tran, Richard Louie, Clinton, and Tabuena Reddy, and Sefi. Thank you all for joining us. Should the board have any questions for your Bureau, we will open up those audio lines for you at that time. At this time, I'm going to move forward with general public comments or commentary from the general public. If you're a member of the general public that would like to provide general public comment or commentary on any of the items for today's agenda, if you can please raise your hand at this time by pressing *9. If you're joining us through the Zoom application, there is a raise hand icon located towards the lower right-hand side of your screen. You can go ahead and click that for us at this time. Again, if you're a member of the general public that would like to provide general public comment or commentary on any of the items for today's agenda, if you can please raise your hand at this time by pressing *9 or click the raise hand icon. We have one member that has raised their hand. I believe it's Dr. Williams. Dr. Williams, which item would you like to speak on? C.T. Williams?
I would like to speak on general public comment. Number one comment on 2 through 11, one comment on 13, one comment on 14. That's all.
Great, thank you, Dr. Williams. So I have you down for public comment, items 1, 2 through 11, 13, and 14. And
correct.
We should get started in the next minute or two at the latest.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, last call for any members of the general public that would like to provide general public comment or commentary on any of the items for today's agenda. If you can please raise your hand by pressing *9 or clicking the raise hand icon if you're joining us through the Zoom application. We currently have one caller on the line for this segment. Any others? Seeing no other hands raised, we'll go ahead and move forward with testing the video cams and audio equipment for our commissioners. It is 10:08 and we are trying to get started in the next minute or two. Commissioners, good morning to you. If you are on the line, if you can please turn on your video cams, I'll go ahead and spotlight you for everyone. See Commissioner Corzine first. I'm going to go ahead and spotlight you for everyone. Good morning, Commissioner Corzine.
Morning.
Morning. Audio works loud and clear. Thank you. And VP Villegas, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning. And President Garcia, good morning to you. Dr. Davis, if you're on the line, if you can turn on your video cam. And Commissioner Reyes, I see your name. If you can turn on your video cam, I can go ahead and spotlight you for everyone. President Garcia, let me give Dr. Davis a call. I do not see him on the line. Dr. Davis, if you're on the line, if you can just turn on your video cam or audio for us. Seeing him not on the line. President Garcia, I will be right back. I'm just going to give him a call to get an ETA. President Garcia, ETA for Dr. Davis is about 1 to 2 minutes. Would you like to wait a couple more minutes, or we can establish quorum? We do have 4 commissioners on the line. Oh, audio is not working. Do you want to test your audio for us? I know you were saying something, but I couldn't hear anything.
Hear me now?
Oh, you came in at the end. Yes. You want to keep just testing?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look a little weird throughout the meeting then.
You may have to get a little closer to the microphone.
I think so.
Perfect.
Yeah, we'll hang on for Dr. Davis.
Okay.
Dr. Campos, this is Ted. Can you hear my audio okay? I've had some issues lately.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Bernadette, as we wait for Dr. Davis, Bernadette Halverson, for items 16, 17, 18, could the board consider those items together, or would you prefer to have each item presented separately?
Good morning. Thank you for asking that. I would like to have them consolidated as one.
Okay, I will make that request to our president. Thank you.
Thank you.
Items 16, 17, and 18.
17, okay, thank you.
You hear me now? I had a problem with the audio, even though I was in. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm going to go ahead and send you President Garcia, we do have Dr. Davis on the line, and all commissioners are on the line. I can go ahead and start the recording for you and establish quorum.
Thank you.
Perfect. Give me about 5 seconds. Turning on the recording for you. President Garcia, you're now in record mode.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting for the Board of Public Works for Wednesday, October 12, 2022. Dr. Campos?
Good morning, everyone. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer, establishing roll call and quorum for today. We have President Garcia, Vice President Villegas, President Pro Tem Davis, and Commissioners Corzan and Reyes. President Garcia, you do have a quorum at this time. President Garcia, we do have one caller on the line under general public comment. We have no commentary under the Neighborhood Council comment section. We also have a speaker on the line for items number 1, 2 through 11, 13, and 14. Again, one speaker for general public comment and one speaker for 1, 2 through 11, 13, and 14. There's also been a request to consider item number 16, 17, and 18 together if your board would like to consider that request. Thank you.
11. I can take those together.
16, 17, and 18.
Okay. What about 2 through 11, the assessment hearings?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay, got it. Thank you. All right. Dr. Campos, we can take public comment now.
Perfect. Thank you, President Garcia. Dr. Williams, if you can please unmute your microphone at this time. If the Board of Public Works is considering general public comment, you'll have 2 minutes to speak under this segment. Please go ahead.
Hello, Dr. Tom Williams, President of Citizens Coalition for a Safe Community. But today and this week is Tree Days. We had a very successful Black Walnut Day celebration in Ascot Park. However, we have also been notified that there's been several black walnuts cut down on Eastern and Lombardy sites. Why? Because they can. The Public Works Department has ordinances regarding public and protected trees, and they're not being protected. Why? Because it costs the developers money, and it also involves the Los Angeles Fire Department and fire commissioners. Why? Because they give permission to cut down anything less than 4 inches. So, well, you might say they cut down anything that they want because there's no enforcement of your protected tree ordinance. So this week, CPAC, and on Friday, you'll be considering some forest management plans. Well, it's not being managed. There's no enforcement. Building and safety won't enforce it. The fire department won't enforce it. So we're left with having to verbally and or in presence berate for tree trimmers and timber cutters on sites. So we're having a real problem with your protected tree ordinance not being enforced by anyone. So we'd like to have something done, say on Friday, with for the urban forest management plan. There is no management. That's all.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. President Garcia, that does clear the queue for general public comment.
General public comments now officially closed for today, which leads us to the first item of today's business, which is the approval of the minutes for Friday, September 23rd, 2022. Is there a second to my motion to move this item forward and forthwith?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Dr. Campos is a first by me and a second by Dr. Davis to move the approval of the minutes forward and forthwith.
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Davis, aye.
Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Well, welcome, colleagues. Happy Wednesday. It is right in the middle of our week, and excited to start our meeting today. I just want to give a statement on the Board of Public Works, and I just want to say that even though we're in very challenging times at this time, Public Works will remain steady in providing services to everyone, all over the city. We will not change, and we will continue to provide services. We are stewards of public right-of-ways, and we will remain focused on being stewards of right-of-way. So with that said, I just want to say thank you for everyone for being here. Your service is always well welcomed, and anybody that is interested in anything that has to do with public right-of-ways and public works, we're more than happy to always work with you on any projects or anything that you need. So thank you, everyone, and I'm excited to start today's meeting with item number 1, which is the bids will be received at 10 a.m. for the following public works projects at the Broadway Historic Theater District pedestrian improvements, 426th Street, work order E1907979 for an estimate amount of $5,459,083 in Council District 14. Dr. Campos, do you mind if I read them all together?
Yes, that's perfectly fine.
Okay, thank you. Second item in today's bids is the Secondary Sewer Renewal Program, DCON 04E10E14, work order SZC 14007 for an estimate amount of $981,950 in Council Districts 2, 5, and 7. And last item on today's bids is the National Boulevard Sidewalk between Clarington Avenue and Jasmine Avenue, work order E1908239 with an estimate amount of $780,325 in Council District 5.
Good morning, Commissioners. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer, opening up bids for today for item number 1. We will go ahead and start with the first bid project, which is the Broadway Historic Theater District pedestrian improvement on between 4th and 6th Street. I am joined today in my office by Matthew Castellano, who will help me open up the bids, and also Jessica Castro, who is our newest employee to the Board of Public Works, assisting us in our contracts and our insurance section, and she will be in training this morning. Matthew will go ahead and start with the bids for the Broadway Historic Project, and we did receive 1 bid for this project. First and only bid for the Broadway Historic Theater District Project is from Access Pacific Incorporated for a total bid amount of $9,405,566.93. That is 9405566.93 from Access Pacific. We will now move on to the second project and open up the bids for the second project listed on the agenda for item 1. This is for the Secondary Sewer Renewal Program DCON 04 project. We did receive 2 bids for this project. The first bid for the second project received is from Ramona Incorporated for a total bid amount of $1,304,825 even. That's $1,304,825 from Ramona Incorporated. The second bid received for the second project is from Vasilch Incorporated for a total bid amount of $907,279.40. That is $907,279.40 from Vasilch Incorporated. For the record, line item number 7 and also the total bid amount has been lined out by the contractor, and both lines have been initialed by the contractor. That concludes the bid openings for the second project. We will go ahead and move forward with the third project. My apologies. We'll go ahead and move forward with the third project. The third project on the agenda is for the National Boulevard Sidewalk between Clarington Avenue and Jasmine Avenue. We did receive 2 bids for the third project on today's agenda. The first bid for the third project is from Access Pacific Incorporated for a total bid amount of $867,305.50. That is $867,305.50 from Access Pacific Incorporated. The second bid received for the third project is from HZS Engineering, doing business as HZS Construction, for a total bid amount of $749,375 even. That's $749,375 375 from HZS Construction. President Garcia and all commissioners, that does conclude the bid openings for the third project and all bids for today's agenda as well. This item will require a motion to receive, open, and declare the bids. President Garcia, you are coming across choppy on my end. I'm not sure if all commissioners can hear you.
I'll keep on getting closer. Is there a second to my motion to accept, receive, declare,
Thank
and open all bids? I think I said it in the wrong fashion, Dr. Campos.
Yes, you said it right.
Okay, good. Is there a second to my motion to accept item number 1?
I'll second that.
I'll take it from both Commissioner Reyes and Vice President Villegas to second item number 1 to move it forward and forthwith.
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Again, this is to receive, open, and declare. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry if my face is coming out super big in somebody's screen, but that's the only way I think I can get the audio coming in. All right, moving on to item number 2. Mr. Flamenco, I imagine you're here for items number 2 through 11?
Yes,
Okay, and I'm gonna read them all together if that's okay with you?
sure.
Okay.
President Garcia, sorry to interrupt. Fernando Campos,
No problem.
officer. I did see a hand raised by Dr. Williams. He did have his name in the queue for item number 1.
You're correct.
Mr. Jordan, could we reopen up item number 1? Dr. Williams did have his hand raised. He did express interest in speaking on item number 1.
Yes, you could do that.
Apologies. Apologies for that, Dr. Williams.
Absolutely. So we'll go ahead and open up item number 1 again to consider public comments on item number 1. This is again for the bids. Dr. Williams, my apologies for overlooking your hand raised there for item number 1. You'll have 2 minutes to speak under item number 1.
Okay. Dr. Tom Williams, Citizens Coalition for a Safe Community, also ex-Center for Independent Living member in Berkeley in 1972. We get used to being overlooked for ADA compliance. By the way, Broadway is not ADA compliant. There are several crosswalks that have no ramps at all. Zero, none. So will these, say the National Boulevard sidewalk and the historic theater district, be ADA compliant at the end of the construction? I hope so, but right now they're not. And all the way from 2nd and Broadway down to 10th and Broadway, there are many non-compliant ADA ramps, but there are 2 crosswalks that have no ramps at all. So I'm quite concerned that in the year 2022, from 1972, 50 years, and we're still not compliant with ADA. So I'm quite concerned about this, and we'll be continuing this particular thread for several others. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And again, we do apologize about skipping over the public comment. Thank you. Dr. Campos, can we close item number 1 now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. Item number 1 is now closed. Through to 11, did we have a public comment for that one, Dr. Campos, for any of the items from 2 through 11?
Yes, we do. We have Dr. Tom Williams on the line that would like to speak on items 2 through 11. Dr. Williams, if you can please unmute your microphone at this time. Under the 10-minute aggregate rule for the board, you do have 8 minutes and 45 seconds left to speak under these items. Please go ahead.
Okay, and Dr. Tom Williams, Citizens Coalition for a Safe Community. Item 2 through 11. Real problem is street lighting. Okay, street lighting needs to be present at all pedestrian crossings. At the corners, it's no problem. However, in between the corners, when you have a pedestrian crosswalk, it needs to be lighted directly. So I'd highly recommend adding for street lighting at every designated crosswalk for ADA compliance and for perhaps a ramp. Make sure that they have a ramp because they need light and they need the ramps. That's all. Two through 11.
Thank you, Dr. Williams.
Thank you, Dr. Campos and Dr. Williams. All right, we'll move on to items 2 through 11. I'll read them into the record, and then Mr. Flamenco, you can give us your report from there. Item number 2 in Council District 9. This is an assessment hearing, Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard Streetscape, Street Lighting Maintenance Assessment District, City Council hearing October 18, 2022. Item number 3, Council District 11, assessment hearing number 2, Sepulveda Boulevard and Centinela Avenue number 3, Street Lighting Maintenance Assessment District, City Council hearing October 18, 2022. Item number 4, Council District 2, assessment hearing 3, Victory Boulevard and Clump Avenue, Street Lighting Maintenance Assessment District, City Council hearing October 18, 2022. Item number 5, Council District 4, Ventura Canyon Avenue and Hesby Street number 1, Street Lighting Maintenance Assessment District, City Council hearing October 18, 2022. Item number 6 in Council Districts 9 and 14, assessment hearing number 5, Nevin Florence, Street Lighting Maintenance Assessment District, City Council hearing October 18, 2022. Item number 7 in Council District 13, assessment hearing number 6, Griffith Park Boulevard and Landa Street, Street Lighting Maintenance Assessment District, City Council hearing October 18, 2022. Item number 8, assessment hearing 7 in Council District 15, Sepulveda Street and Grand Avenue CDBG, Street Lighting Maintenance Assessment District, City Council hearing October 18, 2022. Item number 9 in Council District 10, assessment hearing 8, Wilshire Boulevard and Ardmore Avenue, Street Lighting Maintenance Assessment District, City Council hearing October 18, 2022. Item number 10, Council District 1, assessment hearing 9, Eldon Avenue and West Pico Boulevard, Street Lighting Maintenance Assessment District, City Council hearing October 18, 2022. Item number 11, in Council District 1, assessment hearing 10, Magnolia Avenue and Venice Boulevard, Street Lighting Maintenance Assessment District, City Council hearing October 18, 2022. And I'll turn it now over to Mr. Flamenco from the Bureau of Street Lighting. Good morning, Mr. Flamenco.
Good morning, Ruben Flamenco, Bureau of Street Lighting. Item 2 pertains to a lighting district which we are creating in conjunction with a Bureau of Street Services initiated streetscape project. Items 3, 4, 5, 7, and 9 pertain to lighting districts which we are creating in conjunction with private development projects. Item 6 pertains to a lighting district which we are creating in conjunction with a Bureau of Street Lighting initiated LED conversion project. Only public parcels are impacted in this lighting district. No private parcels are included in this lighting district. Item 10 pertains to a lighting district which we are creating in conjunction with a Bureau of Engineering initiated curb ramp and curb extension project. Items 8 and 11 pertain to lighting districts which we are creating in conjunction with community development block grant projects. Ballots for items 2 through 11 were mailed on August 24th, 2022. Ballots for items 2 to 11 must be received by the City Clerk's Office by Tuesday, October 18th, 2022. We have not received any objections today on items 2 through 11. We are requesting for the board to adopt and forward items 2 through 11 forthwith to City Council.
I think I'm hearing somebody's in the background. Was that on your end, Mr. Flamenco?
No, there's no one here.
You heard a whole entire conversation. Okay. All right. Any
Sorry,
questions?
I think it was me.
Oh, I didn't think it was you because I was on mute, but okay. All right. Well, anyways, just try to put the other conversations away. Thank you so much, everyone. Any questions on items 2 through 11, colleagues?
No questions for me.
Okay, hearing none, is there a motion on the table to move items 2 through 11 forward and forthwith?
So moved.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Corson. Dr. Campos, there's a first by Dr. Davis and a second by Commissioner Corson to move items 2 through 11 forward and forthwith.
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation now. At this time, we'll start with you, President Garcia,
Aye.
Vice President Villegas,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis,
Davis, aye.
Commissioner Corzan,
Aye.
and Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. This is for items 2 through 11. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Flamenco, for your
Thank
time
you.
this morning. Look forward to all those lights being installed. Moving on to item number 12. This is a budget increase. Give me a second. My notes got a little wacky here. Okay. This is a request from the Bureau of Engineering. This is in Council District 11. This is a budget increase in construction services contract. Cisco Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant Digester Screening Facility, Digested Sludge Pipeline Emergency Rehabilitation Project CIP 2701. Recommending the board to 1. Authorize $1,570,000 in additional funding and approve a revised budget of $2,020,000 for the Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant Digester Screening Facility Digested Sludge Pipeline Emergency Rehabilitation Project. We got to talk about this name, Mr. Kopp. And 2, authorize the city engineer to use the construction services contract and issue task work orders to the contractor for an amount not to exceed $2,020,000 for the project. And this morning we have Mr. Kopp here from the Bureau of Engineering to give us a report. Welcome, Mr. Kopp.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And give me 1 second. Let me just double check for public comment. Dr. Campos, do we have any public comment on item 13?
None at this time.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Campos.
Okay, thank you. So this project concerns an existing ongoing project where it was discovered during the course of construction that additional rehabilitation would be necessary to the extent of the entire pipelines, which I'll discuss in further detail. But the project originally concerned the rehabilitation of 2 pipelines between the digesters at Hyperion and the downstream screening facility, both of which are central to providing insured solids processing at Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant and ultimately for beneficial use off-site. And so back in November 2020, following the Environmental Engineering Division's initial assessment of the pipeline, we recommended a project for not to exceed amount of $450,000 and utilization of our construction services contract, which we do call the Cisco contract for short. And what this allows us to do is to utilize a contractor that is already mobilized at the Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant primarily, but technically mobilized at all 4 water reclamation plants that can do small-scale projects on short notice with an expedited pre-design and design phase of a given project, and we can react quickly to the needs of our client, LA Sanitation and Environment. To make a distinction between what the Cisco contract is and our emergency on-call contract is, the emergency on-call contract is designed and executed to handle a number of different types of projects that may happen on an as-needed basis. Things do come up, and since those are unforeseen type projects, they could be a varying scope, complexity, and dollar amount, whereas the Cisco contract is typically for small-scale projects. Now, this project, of course, is a little bit of an outlier. The total budget authorization we're requesting is a little higher than typical, but I'll certainly explain how the project has evolved to the current state by way of this board authorization request. And so initially in November 2020, when we had the project authorization, we began the procurement of long lead materials and equipment. And as we're finding in recent years, the sooner we can start the timeline of procurement, the less risks that the project has of completing on schedule or behind schedule. And so the 6-month lead time as it concerned this project, started back in January 2021, and ultimately around the time that that procurement timeline ended. Unfortunately, at Hyperion, there was an operational disruption, and the Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant's operation maintenance staff to typically support construction projects as needed so that we don't impact operations during construction. Well, at that point in time, operations were diverted to making sure that Hyperion remained stable. And so once Hyperion was stable, fast forward into about March of 2021, that was the point at which we could resume the construction as originally outlined in this project. So we got right to work, and which required excavating the existing alignment of the pipeline. So we started potholing first to make sure we were in the right spots. Once we were, we started uncovering the pipe, and over the course of uncovering the existing pipe, we found areas that required immediate repairs to a much greater extent than we had anticipated. And so at that point, we made the decision to install an above ground temporary pipeline between the digesters and the screening facility to ensure continued operation and eliminate the risk with the leaks in the existing pipeline that we uncovered underground. Because once they're uncovered, it creates more of an operational risk in terms of trying to continue using that pipeline that's damaged. And so as way of this board authorization request, we're requesting to replace two pipelines in their entirety, an 18-inch digested sludge pipeline or digester screening piping, and 12 inches, 380 linear feet of 12-inch digester cleaning pipe. So there's two different pipelines, both of which were at 170 and 190 feet, lineal feet originally, and had to increase in scope from 320 and 380 respectively. The pipeline material has been is proposed to be upgraded to duplex stainless steel, which will ensure a longer lifespan and more sustainable operations of solids processing at Hyperion as it concerns digesters and digester screening, and will also include the removal of all of the existing piping and installation of any bypass necessary to ensure continued solids processing at Hyperion. And at this point, we're about 10% complete, and expect to complete within the next several months, provided we can get all the materials on site and resume construction and replacement of the entire pipeline. But in summary, the reasons for the cost increase from the original $450,000 to today's requested revised not to exceed budget of $2.02 million. It's the additional linear footage, as I mentioned. We're talking almost a double in length for each. And the increased cost of stainless steel duplex piping that we've experienced program-wide. Since this project concerns pretty much pipelines from start to finish, those prices certainly impacted the anticipated budget of the project. And as I mentioned earlier, we have to install temporary bypass lines above ground so that the digester processing can be continuous while we do this construction of the permanent lines. And that concludes the staff report. If there's any questions from your board, I'm happy to answer.
Mr. Cobb, for your report. It's very thorough, well explained, so thank you for that. We have a question from Vice President Villegas.
Thank you, Mr. Cobb, for your report. Just real quick, do you anticipate any delays? Do you already have the equipment?
I believe most of the equipment is in, we still have to procure the additional piping. And in order to do that, we need to get the authorization for the additional budget. So we haven't done any work outside of the original budget authority. So provided we receive that authority, then we can resume the work. So we would expect likely another multi-month lead time for procuring equipment and then doing the installation at this point. But now that we've uncovered and identified a lot of the existing pipeline, I think in terms of identifying our risk during construction, we've done that, and we'll be able to complete the work with few unforeseens, if any.
Okay, and this isn't something that it's not uncommon piping that we're requiring?
Correct.
Other than in steel?
Yeah, our design standards these days in terms of maintaining, operational resilience and sustainability, all those good things that we try to bake into our designs, It does require some sophisticated materials such as 316 duplex stainless steel. For an engineer, we know exactly what that means. For others, what that means is that this is highly corrosion resistant. And since we're in the wastewater marine environment, that material selection is very common for a lot of the work we do out here, whether it's pipe supports or process pipelines.
Okay. Thank you for that. Thanks.
Thank you, Vice President Villegas. Any other questions? Commissioner Reyes.
Just for my, I'm just curious, what's the lifespan of those pipelines?
For these pipelines, it can be, it's a function of the process they're used for, where they're located. So in this case, we're in the marine environment. We're right next to the Pacific Ocean, and where it's going to be located. In this case, it's buried. So in order for me to give an expected life range, or a number of years, it would probably be in a range of probably 30 to 50 years would be our guess.
Thank you.
Or I shouldn't say guess, that would be our projection.
30, 50 is good.
I agree. Thank you, Commissioner Reyes. I was thinking that exact same question. And that's good. That's longer than what we currently have, I imagine.
Yeah,
right?
the existing piping is, I believe it is ductile iron, which has its own strengths and weaknesses, but typically does not last as long in a wastewater plus marine environment as duplex stainless.
Understood. Okay. Okay. Any other questions, colleagues?
Yeah, I wanted to ask Mr. Kopp, in terms of the existing materials that we are replacing, what was the duration of their lifespan in terms of the last time that we constructed that existing site, though it has to be repaired?
So the digesters, the egg-shaped ones that are kind of iconic when you look at pictures of Hyperion, they were constructed in the early mid-90s.
Mm-hmm.
And the screening facility as well were a part of that, as I understand it. And so that pipeline that connects the two, assuming it was from the same era of construction, we're talking a little over, approximately shy of 30 years.
30 years, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
And we anticipate the stainless steel, which is different material, obviously more sustainable. Your projection is that the usage of that has been estimated at how many years?
I can follow up with exact numbers. I would say, with the information I have presenting this project, not being the designer myself, I would expect 30 to 50 years, and that's a pretty solid standard for water reclamation plants design life. Now, a sewer, for example, could be 80 to 100.
Wow.
But it does not go through the rigors of water reclamation process. There's a lot more corrosive materials, and again, we're near this marine environment. Now, it is important to keep in mind that 30 to 50 year range. When we've uncovered this existing ductile iron pipeline, it was already damaged. Therefore, it didn't even reach the 30-year mark. So it would be nearly impossible to know exactly at what point in its lifespan those leaks were observed, because the only time we observed those leaks were when we started uncovering it to repair it to begin with.
So the existing challenge from, I guess it was 320 feet to now 380, an additional 60, is because we are having to implement a bypass. Is that right?
So the original scope was to spot repair the existing line, i.e. not replace the entire length of the piping. But once we started uncovering the piping during excavation, we discovered, as we were chasing these leaks, it was a better decision from a long-term life cycle perspective to replace both the pipelines in their entirety. So for the 18-inch line, we went from an original scope of 170 lineal feet to 320. And for the 12-inch line, we went from 190 lineal feet to 380.
I see. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Well, we're very much interested in making sure that we put in very sustainable items moving forward that are long-lasting and, make sense for what we're doing. All right. Well, colleagues, is there a motion on the table to move item number 12 forward and forthwith?
So I'll second.
Okay. I'll take the first by Commissioner Reyes and second by Vice President Villegas to move item number 12 forward and forthwith.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Hang on, Mr. Cobb, not quite ready yet. Dr.
Almost
Campos?
almost there. We'll go ahead and start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis,
Aye.
Commissioner Corzan,
Aye.
and Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Dr. Campos. Thank you, Mr. Cobb. You are all set to go, and enjoy the rest of the week.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item number 13. This is in Council District 9. This is a contract acceptance sidewalk repair program, small sidewalk repair access request acceleration package number 9. Recommending the board to 1, accept this contract. 2, assess All-American Asphalt with a penalty in the amount of $212.10 for the use of one unapproved subcontractor. And 2, instruct the Director of Office of Accounting to disencumber and retain the recommended city penalty in the amount of $212.10 from the project fund. And today we have Ms. Sefi and Ms. McClinchy here. Good morning, ladies. Welcome.
Good morning, President Garcia and Linda will be presenting on behalf of OCC for this report today. Thank you. Good morning.
Give me 1 second. I'm just going to double check on public comment. Dr. Campos, I have that we have public comment on this item 13, do we?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So sorry, Ms. McClinchy. We'll get back to you right now. We'll take public comment now.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Dr. Williams, if you can please unmute your microphone. At this time, the Board of Public Works is considering item number 13. You'll have 2 minutes to speak under this segment. Please go ahead.
Dr. Tom Williams, Citizens Coalition for a Safe Community. One of the issues right now is public comments should be given after the presentation, but before the board passes on the vote. So I would highly recommend henceforth that you have public comments following the presentation so that we know what's going on during the presentation. My central issue here is all sidewalk contracts. Can you put an ADA compliance requirement in there to allow them to have a economic benefit if they find something wrong, non-compliant with the ADA requirements, which would, might say, provide an incentive to really enforce and provide ADA compliance with all sidewalks and crossings and streets. So 2 elements here. That's all.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Williams, for public comments. Public comments now officially closed on this item. And we have Ms. McClinchy and Ms. Wiles here for today's item. Welcome. Welcome.
Good morning, Commissioners. Linda McClinchy with the Bureau of Contract Administration. We are recommending a penalty of $212.10 be assessed to All-American, the prime contractor on this project. All-American utilize OTM trucking for $2,121 worth of trucking over 2 days, but they did not get OTM trucking approved. We looked into it as they initially informed us that OTM was a wholly owned subsidiary and that the truckers were their employees. However, documentation they provided showed us that the truckers were in fact independent operators. Therefore, we are recommending a penalty of $212.10, which is 10% of the subcontract amount.
All right. Thank you, Ms. McClinchy. Colleagues, any Vice President Villegas?
Thank you. Thanks for the clarification and just for the updated board report. And so is that now, just for transparency, I understand this is the second time that we hear this item. is it now a correction in terms of the fee or the imposed fee that's placed for a contractor that was not approved by BCA? Is this now like a, can you point to like a rule that you are attaching this fee to?
Yes, it's part of the master general conditions, which requires all subcontractors to be approved.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. And I know last time that we met, it was just going back and forth. This isn't negotiated. This is something that is set, correct?
The board has its discretion with regards to a subcontractor substitution penalty.
Okay, but in terms of what's in policy, that's what you're referring to, is in terms of what you're tying this fee to.
So our recommendation is for 10% of the subcontract amount. That's the maximum it could be. And then the board may choose to assess the full 10%, no penalty at all, or anything in between.
Okay, and just my last question, aside just from the discretion of the board, I just want to make it like it's black and white. You're in the event that something like this is repeated in the future by somebody else, for whatever reason, is the fee a percentage of the job, or is the fee a set amount?
So for a subcontractor substitution unapproved penalty, it is 10% of the subcontract amount is the maximum that the city may assess. And that's not only the master general conditions, but part of the public contract code.
Okay. And so for today's fee, you're referencing that, how much of a percentage was imposed? If you say up to 10.
So we provide you with the maximum, which is the 10% or $212.10.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that. Thank you. I just wanted to just put that on record and for clarification.
Okay, thank you very much, Vice President Villegas, for that, making sure that we were clear on that record. Thank you. Any other questions, colleagues? And Ms. McClinchy, was the contractor aware of today's hearing?
I did not personally follow up with them. However, at our last meeting, he was present when the board decided to continue it for 2 weeks.
Okay, so we did not make the effort to let him know that there was going to be another hearing on this item.
I did not, but like I said, he was present at the last board meeting where it was continued for 2 weeks to today.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, in the future, let's try to be a little more communicative whenever it's something that has to pertain to them, something like this. Even though I know that they're probably very relieved that the amount went down to 212, I just want to make sure that they're always aware that their agency or their organization is going to be on public. So making sure that next time we don't just rely on kind of the board, we actually make the attempt to let them know that.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. McClinchy. Any other questions, colleagues? So I want to say thank you for making sure that the report is clear and it's now clean. I always want to make sure that that's what stands, something clean that everybody can understand how the process went. And today is a perfect example of making sure that we were fair and honest with everyone. So bringing it down to the right and adjusting it to the right amount, it was the right thing to do. And even though it took us, a couple of times to come back to hearing to the board to kind of straighten it out, I just want to say thank you everybody that was involved and thank you everybody that pushed for it, because I always want to make sure that we're fair with everyone. So thank you for that. Now with that, does anybody have any other questions, comments, concerns about this item? Hearing none, any objections? Hearing none. Is there a motion on the table to move item number 13 forward and forthwith?
So move.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Corson. Dr. Campos, there's the first by Dr. Davis and a second by Commissioner Corson to move item number 13 forward and forthwith.
We'll start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, Madam Chair.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis,
Aye.
Commissioner Corzan,
Aye.
and Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Campos, for that. Moving on to item number 14. This is a sidewalk contract award at Axiom Group, sidewalk repair program package number 60, recommending the board to 1, declare Geronimo Concrete Inc. the apparent first low bidder who has became the third low bidder after the local business preference was applied, and Access Pacific Inc., apparent second low bidder who became the first low bidder after the LBP was applied, to be non-responsive as discussed in this report. Number 2, declare Axiom Group the apparent fourth low bidder who became the second low bidder after the LBP was applied, to be the lowest responsible bidder, and award Axiom a contract for this project for the amount of $1,762,961 with 25 cents. And 3, authorize the president or 2 members of the board to execute the contract after approval, as to form has been obtained from the city attorney. And I believe we have a public comment on this, right, Dr. Campos?
Yes, we do.
Okay. We'll take
Dr.
public comment now.
Perfect. Thank you. Dr. Williams, if you can please unmute your microphone at this time. The Board of Public Works is considering item number 14. You will have 2 minutes to speak under this item. Please go ahead.
Again, Dr. Tom Williams, Citizens Coalition for Safe Community. I would prefer to give my comments after hearing the presentation before the vote. So, Mr. Jordan, is it standard policy to have public comments before the presentation? That's one question. The other one is, since you can do this with the local business preference, can we put a similar clause in all bid documents regarding at the end of the project, they have to have ADA compliance for the project area? So that's basically all I need. Those 2 questions. Thank you.
Thank you for public comment. You know, and usually we do not have to do this, but I will ask Mr. Ted Jordan to clarify the first question about when the presentation and public comment come in. I know I've double checked, even triple checked with Mr. Jordan many times. Mr. Jordan, just for the record, can you just state that what we are currently doing is within our legal parameters?
Yes, it is. Ted Jordan, Assistant City Attorney. Happy to clarify. It is entirely at the board's discretion whether it chooses to hear public comment before an item, during an item, or after the item. Hearing public comment before the item, in fact, has been the board's longtime policy, although I do know that Dr. Williams himself was given the opportunity to speak after items by some prior board presidents. That, however, has never been the rule of the board, and even though it had been done in the past, there's no obligation to continue doing so. The agenda fully describes the item consistent with the Brown Act, and in fact, the City Council takes its public comments before the items as well. Should that, mean anything to you in terms of guidance?
Thank you, Mr. Jordan, for that clarification. Public comment is now officially closed, and we are here with Ms. Sanchez de la Vega from the Bureau of Engineering on item number 14. Go ahead, Ms. Sanchez.
Thank you. Good morning, board. Julia Sanchez de la Vega with the Bureau of Engineering. So I'm here to happily recommend the award of Sidewalk Repair Program Package number 60. This project will repair pedestrian facilities adjacent to 5 of the city's outstanding and vital library facilities. This project will reach communities throughout the city of Los Angeles with its improvements. From north to south, we have Chatsworth Branch Library in the Valley and Council District 12. Down near downtown, not too far from the City Hall, the Little Tokyo Branch Library in Council District 14. Moving south, the Ascot Branch Library in Council District 9. The Alma Reeves Woods Watts Branch Library in Council District 15. And the Wilmington Branch Library, also at the very southern tip there of Council District 15. So I would like to confirm for all present that these projects will bring these facilities into full compliance with ADA and other mobility disability access standards. And furthermore, a certificate of compliance will be issued by the city with that certification. These projects provide improvements to those with mobility disabilities who encounter physical barriers, including broken sidewalks and non-compliant curb ramps, and any other barriers to access or accessibility. The contract duration for this project will be 185 calendar days. So we're looking to complete these improvements by the end of the fiscal year. The sidewalk repair sites included in this package have been reviewed and are qualifying sidewalk repair projects receiving ministerial approval by the city engineer under CEQA. For this project, a total of 5 bids were received and were found to be reasonable based on the tight range of bids. The bids range between 13 and 19% above the city engineer estimate. BOE requests that you declare Geronimo Concrete and Access Pacific to be non-responsive as discussed in the report. OCC notified Geronimo of their failure to meet several indicators, and Geronimo did not contest OCC's determination. Furthermore, Access was also notified who failed to meet the mandatory subcontracting minimum requirement, and Access did not contest the determination either. So with that, BOE recommends that you declare Axiom Group to be the lowest responsible bidder and award Axiom Group a contract for $1,762,961. They are a certified local business enterprise. They were the apparent fourth low bidder, becoming the second low bidder after LBP was applied. Axiom pledged participation levels of 16.03% minority business enterprise, 1.24% small business enterprise, 1.24% emerging business enterprise, 14.73% other business enterprise, and a total of 34.44% for the mandatory subcontracting. Axiom successfully passed their BIP evaluation. Funding for this project in the total of $2,115,553.50, including contingency, comes from the Sidewalk Repair Fund. I do want to read 2 minor corrections on the report into the record this morning. We request first of all, that a paragraph be added to address the bid bond extension. Axiom was requested to extend their bid bond, which expired on September 20th, 2022. The contractor has agreed to extend the bid bond until October 21st, 2022. And also, unfortunately, there was a typo in the total authorization for the contract on the last page in both the funding table and in the note below the Director of Accounting's signature. The total to be corrected there is to $2,150,553.50. That concludes my report. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Julia, for that. I wanted, so you want to add a 4th recommendation? Is that what I'm hearing from you?
No, there was just a minor, some language, adding some language to discuss the bid bond, and then correcting the total in that's being authorized for funding on the package on the last page of the report.
Okay, so so you just want, because what you're asking also is to approve or ask for the bid, Axiom, for their bid to have an extension on their bond into October 21st, 2022, right?
Yes, the bid has actually been extended, and they agreed to extend it that was just not captured in the report, so that's adding that language to the report, that information.
Okay, to the report, but not necessarily to our recommendations for today, right?
Yes, yes.
President Garcia, if I could just interject, I believe what
Sure.
Julie is doing is she's just really augmenting the record that she's presenting to the board to indicate, say, for example, with the case of the bid bond, that the contractor has extended their bid bond. There's no action for the board to take.
Okay.
It's just supplementing the record before the board, those additional facts. It can be, I mean, we can add it to the written report. It's part of the board's record. It could be reflected in the minutes of the board's meeting today, and that's probably more than sufficient. But there's no further action or amendment to the recommended actions for the board today. It's really just augmenting our record.
Okay, thank you. That's really what I wanted to hear, that if we needed to take action on it and kind of the last piece. So we do not. This is good. We keep as is. Vice President Villegas, did you want to add something to this item?
No, not to this item, no.
Okay, got it. Okay, well, is any questions for Julia? Hearing none. Any objections? Hearing none either. Is there a motion on the table to move item number 14 forward and forthwith then?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Corson. I'll second that. Julia, you're getting no response there for a minute. I was getting worried. So Commissioner Corson has moved item number 14 forward and forthwith, and I will second that. Dr. Campos?
We'll start the voting tabulation at this time. We'll go ahead and start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas?
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis? Dr. Davis, you're on mute.
I've got many agenda pages working here. I apologize. Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Corzine?
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes?
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. For the record, we will note on our journals and our minutes that per the oral testimony, the bid bond has been extended from September 20th to October 21st, 2022.
Yes, that makes all sense now. Thank you very much, everyone. Ms. Sanchez de Vegas, you are good to go. Your item has now been approved. Thank you. Have a good rest of the week.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right, moving on to item number 15. This is in Council District 14. This is a street closure extension, 7th Street from San Julian Street to Maple Avenue, 7th Streetscape Improvements Project, recommending the board to 1, authorize the extension of the temporary full closure of 7th Street from San Julian Street to Maple Avenue through December 19, 2022 for the construction of the 7th Streetscapes Improvement Project. And Dr. Campos, just confirming, do we have public comment on this item?
No, we do not.
Okay, thank you for that. Arsen and Winnie, welcome.
Morning, thank you. Arsen Voskirchen with the Bureau of Engineering, Street Improvement Division. We're here today with the board report recommending the extension of the temporary full closure of 7th Street between San Julian and Maple to facilitate the construction of the 7th Street Streetscape Improvements Project. And so we're asking for the extension through December 19th, 2022. And that's due to additional time that the Department of Water and Power needed to complete their relocation and repair work to facilitate the construction of this project as well. And so because DWP needed additional time to do the work in this location, the contractor was not able to complete the contracted work within the previously authorized closure period. And so therefore we're asking for the extension today. I'm joined with our project manager, Winnie Lam, and so I'm going to pass it over to Winnie to provide a brief overview of the report. Winnie?
Yes. Good morning. Winnie Lam with the Bureau of Engineering, Street Improvement Division. I want to give a reminder for our first street road closure was from San Pedro Street to San Julian Street, and we're happy to report that the protected bike lane is in, and the roadway and the sidewalk is now open. For the second closure, we encounter the high power utility. And so with that, the water line had to go, instead of just 4 feet deep, it has to go 10 feet deep. So because of the additional shoring, the time allowed for DWP got much longer, and LA Engineering, our contractor, has to complete the contract work, longer within the authorized street closure period. And also for the extension, we got the support of the Office of Council Member Kevin De Leon. The council office would like the contractor to get in there, do the work quickly and efficiently, get out, and that's why the road closure really works for this project. We have received concurrence from the local police station and the fire station. As for the public outreach, our last field walk to the businesses were done on May 12th and June 30th. We took our posters, we passed it out so that it would display that businesses are open during construction. We also took note of their concerns. BOE has hired outreach consultant to do continuous public outreach throughout the duration of the construction phase. These blasts will be sent out to provide update on the construction impact and the possible detours. We have a project hotline number for the public to call if they have any questions. So we request the board to authorize this extension of this temporary full road closure from St. Julian to Maple Street. I am here to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Winnie, for your report. And Arsen, you're always on top of everything. Colleagues, any questions? No. Just for the record, and because of this newfound situation, our project timeline will now increase slightly, little bit, Arsen, or you guys are calculating that at this time?
Yes, we're still calculating the overall impact to the project duration, but we believe there will be an impact and the overall project duration will be increased. And so we are calculating what that will mean at the end of the project. We are still early in the overall project completion progress. And so as we get closer to the end, we'll see if we can make up some of this time in the future blocks. That's our hope, that we'll work with the contractor. And as we learn with our partner agencies in the city how to do this in coordination together more efficiently moving forward, that we can hopefully gain some time. However, we do expect there will be an impact to the end date of the overall project as we have to coordinate with and include these utility relocations as part of our work.
I see. Very well. Okay, any questions for Winnie or Arsen? Hearing none, any objections? Hearing none, is there a motion on the table to move item number 15 forward and forthwith?
So move.
Thank you, Vice President Villegas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Davis. Dr. Campos, there's a first by Vice President Villegas and second by Dr. Davis to move item number 15 forward and forthwith.
We'll start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Davis, aye.
Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Arsen and Winnie. Hope this kind of helps you guys out on giving you more leverage on your time. And look forward to hearing our new timeline based on the new results we have.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good rest of the week.
Thank you, you too.
All right, moving on to item number 16. This is in all council districts. This is an AFE for the County Sanitation District number 2, Southgate. Bureau of Sanitation and Office of Accounting are requesting board approval and execution of an authority for expenditure in the amount of $100,000 to pay for contingent backup refuse, disposal, and transfer services provided at the Southgate Recycling Transfers Facility when significant delays are being experienced at the city's primary facilities for the term of July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023. Authorize the president or two members of the Board of Public Works to execute this service agreement. And this morning we have Ms. Bernadette here with us, joining us. Welcome, Ms. Bernadette.
Are you there?
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, President Ora Garcia, Commissioners Villegas, David, Corson, and Reyes, Executive Officer Dr. Campos, City Attorney Ted Jordan, and Bureau Representatives. I am Bernadette Halverson, Senior Environmental Engineer with LA Sanitation and Environment. I am here to request the board to approve 3 authorities for expenditure for the Solid Resources Curbside Program. So item 16 is for the first AE. This is for the Los Angeles County Sanitation District in the amount of $100,000 to pay for refuse disposal and transfer services provided at the Southgate Transfer Station, and this is for services rendered in fiscal year 2022 to 2023. Southgate facility is owned and operated by the LA County Sanitation District, and it is located at 9530 Garfield Avenue in Southgate. We use this facility as an alternate or backup facility for transferring solid waste when significant delays are experienced at our primary facilities. So the second AE, which is for item number 17, is for the LA County of Los Angeles. It's in the amount of $450,000 to pay for solid waste management fee for materials delivered to facilities outside of LA County. So pursuant to the LA County Code, all solid waste landfilled outside the LA County is subject to, an LA County management fee of $50 per ton. So we send solid waste to El Sobrante landfill, which is located in Corona Riverside County. And each time we send a material to that facility, we are assessed $50 per ton. The third and last AE is for the City of Long Beach Sanitation District. It is in the amount of $200,000 to pay for contingent refuse processing services provided at the Southeast Resource Recovery Facility. This is for fiscal year 22-23. This facility is in the City of Long Beach, and it thermally recycles solid waste. So we use this facility as a backup for solid waste processing when significant delays are experienced at our primary facilities. So we are using authority for expenditure because both City of Long Beach and the LA County prefer not to enter into long-term contracts for this type of services. All 3 AEs are funded by a special fund within LA San, and that is the Solid Waste Resources Revenue Fund, and it has no impact on the general fund. This concludes my presentation, and I am more than happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you so much.
18, right? All together?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Just for clarification, we are approving, if we do so, of the items 16, 17, 18 all together. Ms. Bernadette read those into the record. Thank you very much. And is there any questions on that? On any of those 3 items? Okay. Hearing none, are there any objections on any of those 3 items? Bernadette, you
President Garcia, I do see a hand. I see a hand raised, but it may be raised in error. It's Richard Louis, but I do see.
Oh, Richard Louis. Richard Louis, are you trying to speak during Ms. Bernadette's item?
Sorry, I was actually raising my hand on the previous item, so not on this one.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry about that.
We missed you.
Richard.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Hi, Richard. All okay though, right? You're okay. So, not on you, Ms. Bernadette. So we're still question remains. Any objections on items 16, 17, or 18? Any questions? Hearing none, is there a motion on the table to move items 16, 17, and 18 forward and forthwith?
So moved. Second.
Okay, I'll take it from Commissioner Reyes and second by Vice President Villegas to move items 16, 17, 18 forward and forthwith.
Yes, we'll start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
Commissioner President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and it carries unanimous. This is
Great,
again for items 16, 17, and 18.
Yes, thank you very much. Ms. Bernadette, thank you for your time this morning, and we look forward to making sure our bills get paid.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much to all of you.
Thank you. Have a good rest of the day.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, colleagues, moving on to item number 19 on today's agenda item. This is in Council District 14, bid extension and revised construction costs, 6th Street Viaduct Park Arts and River Connectivity Improvements, Department of Cultural Affairs, LA Hands Art Peace Foundations, CBD Sewer Rehab, Unit 11A, 6th Street, Sifan to Santa Fe Avenue. And recommending the board, number one, grant an extension of the bid date from October 19, 2022 to November 9, 2022, and revise the city's engineer construction cost to $38,979,003, and two, authorize city engineer to advise all prospective bidders of the board's action by addendum. Okay, what do we have going on here, Mr. Lamb?
Hi, good morning, commissioners. Yes, my name is Gary Lamb from the Bureau of Engineering's Architectural Division. So the motion before you today is, like you mentioned, requesting those two things about bid extension and a revised city engineer's estimate. But before I begin, I want to go ahead and just give you a little bit of background on these projects. So we have a total of 3 projects that are being combined into a single construction contract. And so those 3 projects are, those 3 projects are the 6th Street Park project, number 1. And this project is development of a brand new 12-acre park underneath the 6th Street Viaduct. The second project is for the Department of Cultural Affairs. They have a commissioned artist that will install an art piece on both sides of the river, on both sides of the park. And in this construction contract, we are going to be building the foundations for those art pieces, at which time the artist will come in and put up that sculpture on those foundations. And finally, the third project is the Central Business District 11A sewer rehab project. This project will rehabilitate 477 linear feet of an existing 36-inch diameter sewer line that runs underneath the future Arts Plaza of the park. So the reason we're combining all these 3 projects together is simply because of the fact that they're all located in the same location. Rather than having 3 separate contractors build the project in a coordinated effort, let's just have one single contractor do all the work. Okay, so with that background, so this project is currently out to bid. And we initially held our pre-bid meeting back on September 1st, 2022. And some bidders attended, but the ball really got rolling in terms of bidder interest a week or 2 after we held that pre-bid meeting. So there was a strong interest level from a lot of bidders after that September 1st date. And so as a result, BOE and Bureau of Contract Administration, we decided to hold a second pre-bid meeting on October 4th. So we were able to accommodate more bidders to attend. And so by having that additional pre-bid meeting, we in essence needed them to perform certain requirements that's required under the business inclusion program, the outreach, for instance. So we needed, so by having that second pre-bid meeting, there needed to be more time for the bidders to conduct that outreach. So that's number 1. And number 2, we added a number of new addendums to our drawings. That included some new drawings. So with those new drawings, we need the bidders and the contractors and their suppliers and subs to look at the drawings and give us a good, fair price on these drawings. So as a result, we are asking for a bid extension of 4 weeks to a new date of November 16th, 2022. And I do want to, I don't know if we should at this point make a correction to the motion or do it later on, but the motion currently reads November 9th is the due date. But we are requesting to add to the record that the bid due date be extended to November 16th, 2022. Okay. All right, so that's the first item for this motion. The second item in this motion is we're requesting that the city engineer's estimate be revised to $38,979,003. This represents an increase of $2 million from the previous city engineer's estimate. The reason we're requesting this revised estimate is to account for the fact that we're going to be adding a bid line item in the bid proposal to add additional perimeter fencing and gates to surround the park. This is so that we can provide enhanced security for the future park patrons. So that concludes my presentation. I'm open to any questions you may have.
Report. So you are officially making the change, wanting to make the change from November 9th to the 16th.
That is correct.
Okay. The Vice President Villegas.
Just for clarification, the amount has not changed in the motion?
The city engineer's estimate currently in the motion is correct. That's $38,979,003.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, Vice President Villegas, for making that clarification. Yes, that was important to make. Okay, so the only adjustment or change we're making today is extending the bid date from the 16th to the 16th, 1 week, in other words, right?
The bid due date is being extended by 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
The original bid due date is October 19th, 2022, and the requested revised due date is November 16th, 2022.
Okay.
What gets confusing is that the motion says something different. And although you may know the particulars in terms of the time extension, looking at what's in front of us, it says November 7th. And so, November 9th. And so you're requesting for another week after that. But I see that it's from October 19th through November 16th, just for clarification. It sounded different, that's all.
Yeah. Okay, okay, good. Thank you, Ms. Vice President Villegas, because that's exactly what I wanted to hear. So we are extending it by 1 week at the tail end of it, but in reality, we're now extending it to, I think you said 5 weeks of the time range or something like that, right?
Well, okay, what Commissioner Villegas stated is correct. On the motion, yes, we are extending it by an additional 1 week. That is correct.
Okay. So with that, the motion now reads grant an extension of the bid date from October 19, 2022 to November 16, 2022, and revise the city engineer's construction cost. Is that right now?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. So colleagues, we are, if any objections on extending the bid date to November 16th?
No, none at all. I just had a couple of questions for clarification.
Sure. Okay.
I'm sorry. The $38 million is inclusive of the additional $2 million that is in the proposal as a result of this motion. Is that right? Or is it $2 million after the 38? The $2 million is already inclusive of the $38 million, correct?
That is correct. The $2 million is inclusive in the $38 million.
The other thing is, in terms of us merging the project together with the various departments, that is only for the motion in terms of who will supervise each of the various projects. For example, the cultural affairs project and the artwork will still be supervised or oversight by them, or would the supervisorial company be engineering now as a result of this motion and they oversee everything? How does that work?
So the Bureau of Engineering's Construction Management Division is going to oversee all three of these projects in terms of the construction. So Cultural Affairs is providing the funding for the foundations.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Davis. Any other questions or clarifications on this item? Okay. Hearing none, are there any objections? Hearing none. Also, is there a motion on the table to move item number 19 with the new extension date of November 16, 2022? To move it forward and forthwith.
So moved.
Thank you, Vice President Villegas. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Dr. Campos is the first by Vice President Villegas and a second by Dr. Davis to move items number 19 forward and forthwith as amended.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous as amended. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Mr. Lamb, thank you for your time. You are good to go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good week. All right, colleagues, we are now in our oral report section. We have two oral reports. I'll start with item number 20, which is an advisement number 1 for La Gloria relocation status report, Bureau of Engineering. And I believe we have Ms. Parra. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam President. Good morning, Commissioners, Bureau representatives, and distinguished guests. My name is Janelle Parra. I'm the Property Manager for Bureau of Engineering Real Estate Division. This oral report provides a progress update to the Board of Public Works regarding La Gloria relocation, as requested by the Appeals Board at the conclusion of La Gloria's relocation appeal hearing held on February 4, 2022. Section number 1, activities completed last month. In August 2022, the Los Angeles County Health Department provided La Gloria's architect with an informal report based on findings from the courtesy site evaluation performed on July 6, 2022. The report received on August 16, 2022 identified corrections that would be required for the pending consolidation. The feedback from the report has been incorporated into La Gloria's plans for submittal that will be reviewed by all required agencies. La Gloria's architect, La Gloria, and the Bureau of Engineering Real Estate met with the Health Department on September 30th, 2022 to review the draft architectural. The feedback provided during that time will be incorporated into the construction submittal by the architect. La Gloria is requesting that the Health Department continue to allow grandfathered facility conditions. Otherwise, the project will experience significant delays, added costs, and may not be possible to complete the relocation as reflected in the current schedule. Other activities and actions include weekly meetings and on-site visits with vendors and city staff, working with the Health Department to obtain feedback and report of their courtesy inspection, continued environmental engineering, AQMD permitting requirements in process, including stormwater, project schedule updated, La Gloria's architectural plans in progress, UL correction vendor bids received. The bids will be used to determine which of the vendors will do the retrofitting of the existing equipment that will be moved. Section 2, requested and approved payments. No new requests at this time. Section 3, relocation schedule. The timeline to relocate La Gloria could be highly impacted by the Health Department's review and findings by as much as 6 months. That concludes my oral report, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Ms. Parra for that report. Any questions, colleagues?
Yes. In terms of the work that we're doing with La Gloria, when do you anticipate we will have a smooth transition to the new facility?
Based on, well, not having the findings and or final recommendation and reports from the Health Department right now, we are anticipating that it'll be delayed by 6 months. So it will be around August of 2023. However, if the health department approves the grandfathered in of the current condition of the replacement site, then we will most likely be able to relocate La Gloria by the schedule of February 2023 was the previous anticipated date. And those we won't know until we receive the final comments and or feedback from the health department.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Commissioner.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Vice President Villegas?
Thank you. Appreciate your report, Ms. Parra. Just wanted to find out if you can elaborate just a little bit on the timeline for hearing back from LA County Public Health on this project.
I'd be happy to elaborate on that one. So on September 30th is when the Bureau representative as well as La Gloria and its architect met with the health department. They provided oral feedback at that time. La Gloria is currently preparing the architectural drawings as well as the engineering drawings. They have not submitted it to the health department. I believe they're anticipating that before the end of this month is when they will submit to the health department. And I'm anticipating and hoping that within the next month or so, we will receive final feedback from the health department.
And if you can just provide us a little bit more context, what does it mean if they, it sounds like if they go forward and grandfather some of the requests from La Gloria, then we will be on track to relocate them. Is that correct? And then if not, my brain always works in like categories. And if not, then they have to go through additional length of time. You mentioned 6 months. And then a cost will be, I guess, will be bared by the La Gloria.
Yes, Vice President Villegas, thank you for that additional information. I wanted to clarify a few things. So if the health department concludes that they will grandfather in the current replacement site, that means that everything will move forward as originally planned, and they'll be able to relocate to its replacement site by March or February of next year. However, if, for example, based on the review of the health department, they have all of these new conditions which are not reflected in the final drawings, that there'll be a back and forth, and so therefore the timeline will be impacted by at least 6 months. It could be more than 6 months, but at least 6 months. And also there will be an increase in cost. So as I don't know if you remember, but there are basically two major categories for relocation: the move cost and the reestablishment cost. The move cost is 100% reimbursable. However, these requirements will fall into the reestablishment category, which is maxed out at $25,000. And so therefore, any additional costs in the reestablishment will be borne by La Gloria. And we won't know any information until we receive the final comments from the health department.
And so, once we receive that information, do you all, I don't know if you know this information, I'm just hypothetical here. Do you know about how much they would have to bear?
Yes, anticipated that the increase will be up to $50,000. So last time we presented in front of the board during the appeals hearing in February of 2022, La Gloria will bear approximately $45,000. I don't have the figures in front of me. And so with the additional requirements, it could go up as high as $100,000. So there will be an additional $55,000 that La Gloria will have to bear if the health department will not grandfather in the current condition of the facility.
I appreciate the context.
Thank you, VP Villegas.
Thank you, Ms. Parra. Any other questions on this item? Ms. Parra, was La Gloria's folks notified of today's hearing?
Yes, Madam President, we did.
Okay, thank you. And they're fully aware of where we're at in the situation, right?
Yes, we have weekly communications with La Gloria and its contract.
Okay, understood. Thank you. And for the record, they are still operating, right?
Yes, they are 100% operating at the displacement site.
Okay, okay, just wanted to make sure that the business has not been impacted. Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Parra, for that information.
Thank you.
We don't have to do anything on it, but thank you. See you next month to make sure that we are still on track, and hopefully we have some breaking news not breaking news, but moving it forward is what I meant.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Have a good day, everyone.
You too. Have a good week, Ms. Parra.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to our last item on today's agenda. This is item 21, community level contracting, all bureaus. And who do we have here today, Dr. Campos?
Garcia, we have from the Bureau of Contract Administration, Jessica Lopez, from the Bureau of Engineering, Greg Vandergriff, from Bureau of Street Services, Martha Inez, and from the Bureau of Sanitation, Nancy Lanton. There's nothing to report from the Bureau of Street Lighting at this time.
Okay, very well. We'll go in that order.
I apologize, President Garcia. Ruben Flamengo will provide the report for BSL.
Yes. All right, Ruben Flamengo.
I just saw him turn on his video camera, and he did remind me at the beginning, so I apologize, Ruben.
He's like, don't forget BSL. Okay, so we'll start with that order. We'll go with Bureau of Contract Administration first, BOE, Bureau of Street Services, Bureau of Sanitation, and we'll end with Bureau of Street Lighting. Jessica, good morning. Welcome.
Hi, good morning, President Garcia and all commissioners. Thank you for having us today. So I am Jessica Lopez. I am the Clear Contracting Analyst with the Bureau of Contract Administration, and we'll be giving the Community Level Contracting Quarterly Board presentation on behalf of BCA. So per the Board of Public Works motion that was adopted on May 19th, BCA was instructed to provide guidance to assist the Public Works Bureaus. And we continue to provide guidance and are happy to continue in our space. We encourage and are more than willing to help create implementation strategies, plans, and evaluation methodologies for CLC. So just a reminder to all of the bureaus present that I am a contact for the Bureau of Contract Administration to help you and your bureaus with all of your CLC needs. Currently, BCA has no CLC contracting opportunities at this time. We only do contracting via the Office of Wage Standards, and those are mostly community business organizations, also known as nonprofits. Since our last report, we started working with Commissioner Reyes on doing a citywide meeting with proprietaries and other city departments in order to expand the CLC program outside of Public Works, in our hopes that we can not only bring to the table what all of our bureaus have done, but also spread it all throughout the city. We are working with BSS to do additional certification training for the contract truckers, and we are continuing to develop a CLC toolkit or guidebook to help explain what CLC is and provide guidance to departments and bureaus on how to start implementing CLC. Hopefully, this could also be utilized not only by our departments and bureaus, but could be utilized by the private industry as well. So that is all for BCA's report back on this CLC board presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lopez. Right.
Good morning, President Garcia and Commissioners. It's a pleasure to be with you this morning. For the Bureau of Engineering Quarterly Report on Community Level Contracting for July 1st, 2022 to September 30th, 2022, the Bureau of Engineering issued 4 contracts to our small concrete sidewalk repair contractors. They were Max Out Incorporated for the Sidewalk Repair Program Small Sidewalk Repair Access Request Acceleration Package number 25 for $90,805. A contract to Rojas Construction for the SRP Small Sidewalk Repair Access Request Acceleration Pack number 26 for $86,381. A contract to Alameda Construction Services Incorporated for SRP Small Sidewalk Repair Access Request Acceleration Pack number 28 for $80,924. And to Axis Construction SRP Small Sidewalk Repair Access Request Acceleration Pack number 29 for $91,441. All of these contractors have various certifications. However, Alameda Construction Services is an LBE. We have 6 sidewalk repair program packages that we anticipate awarding in the period between October 1st and December 31st of 2022. That will be Small Sidewalk Repair Access Request Acceleration Package number 27, Small Sidewalk Repair Access Request Acceleration Package number 30, Small Sidewalk Repair Access Request Acceleration Pack number 31, and Small Sidewalk Repair Access Request Acceleration Package number 32, and SRP Small Sidewalk Repair Access Request Acceleration Package number 33. At this time, we do not have any solar photovoltaic or energy storage system projects awarded or plan to be awarded for the upcoming quarter. Are there any questions?
Questions for the Bureau of Engineering? Or in that case, in the Bureau of Contract Administration? No? All right. Hearing none, Mr. Vandergriff, I think you're good to go.
I did have a question. Perhaps Dr. Campos could explain how he would like for me to transmit a hard copy of the report to the board for the minutes.
Sure. Dr. Campos? Dr. Campos?
He may have stepped away for a minute.
Yeah, he might have. I know there were, okay.
We can go on.
Why do you usually do it? I think you can just submit it, email it to Dr. Campos, and then he'll email it to all of us and make sure that he puts it in the record.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll go now with the Bureau of Street Services. What do we have here?
My apologies, President Garcia.
Oh, okay. I thought it was you. I was waiting for you to talk. Okay. Welcome, Ms. Iniguez.
Good afternoon, President Garcia, Board Commissioners, and Board staff. My name is Martha Inez. I'm representing the Bureau of Street Services to report on the community level contracting for July to September. The first 4 contracts are for the landscape median islands. In the past, the city's median islands were divided into 2 service areas. Prior to creating the current contracts, we divided the city into 4 service areas to give smaller contractors the opportunity to bid on them. This is how the Green Garden contractor became a first-time city contractor. And on September 30th, 2022, this board authorized the Bureau to exercise the second and final 1-year renewal option, which extends the term of the contracts to October 2023. The next item is the freeway off-ramp closure services contract with Sterndal Enterprises. This is a 3-year contract with a $200,000 yearly budget. It expires in August 2024. The last item is the as-needed haul truck program. On June 3rd, 2022, this board authorized the Bureau to exercise the 1-year renewal option and the addition of 18 new truckers. We currently have a total of 94 truckers in this program. We have 1 potential CLC opportunity, which is for the sidewalk and park vending outreach and education. It will be a 3-year pre-qualified on-call contract. 5 of the original 8 vendors are still interested in participating. We expect the total yearly budget to be about $350,000, but are looking to limit each toss to no more than $100,000 each. We will be bringing more information to this board in the next coming months. We continue to encourage our project managers to look at their projects with community level contracting in mind and ask them to bring innovative ideas to open opportunities to small businesses. That concludes my report on community level contracting for the Bureau of Street Services. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for that. Ms. Iniguez, any questions for the Bureau of Street Services? Dr. Davis, are you?
Thank you again. The street services trucking program is a part of community level contracting. In terms of the work that they do, it's pretty much the same. You said that the salaries for each of them, or the contracts, are $100,000 a piece. Is that correct?
No, that was in regards to the potential CLC opportunity for sidewalk and park vending outreach.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Got it. Thank you, Dr. Davis, for that clarification. Any other questions? Hearing none. Thank you, Ms. Iniguez, for your time, and have a good rest of the week also. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners, for your time.
All right, moving on to the Bureau of Sanitation.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Nancy Lanton from LA Sanitation and Environment. For this quarterly report, LA Sanitation has one pending CLC opportunity. This is the RFQ for landscaping and site services for all of our facilities. LA San is proposing to establish 2 on-call lists of contractors for landscaping and site services. One list is for our larger work packages, so any work over $50,000. We'll have a list of prime contractors for those, and the other list is for our smaller work packages. So any work that we have under $50,000, those contractors will be on those lists. Since our last update to the board, we have completed negotiations with the prime contractors and are currently preparing the board report and the draft contracts for the board's approval. And they will be subject to mayor and council approval as well. And we do anticipate going to the board with those draft contracts in the next quarter. Those contracts are proposed to be 5 years in length with 2 optional 2-year renewals for all of those contracts. And I also want to note that the lists do include prime contractors that are certified as minority business, women business, and local business enterprises. As far as our future opportunities, we still do meet regularly with our project managers and division managers on a monthly basis and discuss other potential projects on whether or not those can be broken up similarly to these. We have identified one potential RFQ that can be potentially broken down by various geographical regions. It's a little bit more complicated, so we're evaluating it right now to see if we can break down the projects by service area. And we hope that this project can be rolled out also under community level contracting. And that concludes my report for this quarter. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Nancy, for that report. Any questions for the Bureau of Sanitation?
I just have one question, Nancy. There are a lot of opportunities for CLC on the maintenance of our reclamation plants. Are you looking into that as well to explore, possibilities? Because that is like a year-long maintenance repair kind of operations, right?
Yes, that's another project that the division managers and project managers are looking into. We already have an as-needed contractor for maintenance, but that is something that a lot of the work has been specialized work on a variety of different needs for the plant. So yes, we will continue to see how these smaller projects can be broken down and establish on-call lists.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Ms. Latin, you're putting an on-call list together, right? Or you already put this together?
For the landscaping one?
Yes.
Yes, it'll be an on-call list.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Hearing none. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Lanton, for your report. And we'll move on now to Mr. Flamenco, the Bureau of Street Lighting.
Good afternoon, Ruben Flamenco, Bureau of Street Lighting. The Bureau has 2 ongoing community level contracts for the first quarter of the 2022-2023 fiscal year. Vision Zero Bus Stop Security Lighting Unit 1, Segment 1, total value $68,530 for new security lights adjacent to bus stops. And Vision Zero Bus Stop Security Lighting Unit 1, Segment 2, total value $70,220 for new security lights adjacent to bus stops. Segment 1 was offered sequentially to each contractor on the on-call contractors list. All contractors declined the project until we reached Servitec Electric, who accepted the job. The reasons we received by the other contractors for declining the project was either they were too busy or the job was too small and therefore not profitable enough for them to undertake. Since Servitec Electric was awarded Vision Zero Segment 1, they were placed at the bottom of the on-call contractors list for Vision Zero Segment 2. The Bureau again offered Segment 2 to the on-call contractors sequentially. Once again, each contractor declined to accept Segment 2 for the same reasons they declined accepting Segment 1. Either they were too busy or the job was too small and therefore not profitable enough for them to undertake. Servitec Electric, however, did accept Segment 2 and was awarded the project. Mobilization by Servitec Electric for both projects has begun, and in our next quarterly report, we will be able to better provide the board with the status of construction on both projects. Thank you.
Hearing none. Thank you, Mr. Flamenco. I believe that's the last of our
I have a
speakers.
question for Mr. Flamingo.
Oh, sure, Dr. Davis.
Yeah, we looked at community level contracting. Did we ever discuss a ballpark figure of what the sum should be of the contracts that we have? Certainly they should be much smaller than obviously the larger contracts, but is there some figure that we ever discussed about the range of costs for the projects?
Not that I'm aware of, Commissioner Davis, but certainly that could be something that we can discuss moving forward. Since we're having very little activity or acceptance by some of the other contracts, we were thinking, do we have to make these projects bigger, actually, to try to get more others to accept the job?
In your area, it does appear that way, based upon what we're hearing from the contractors that are bidding. And Servitec, for example, got both contracts, right, for the 68,000 and the 78,000, right? So that's probably a little over
138,750 for both projects for Servitec.
Right. Did we ever say up to $500,000 for these projects, or we didn't put a figure?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, so that's something we probably obviously need to take into consideration in terms of breaking it down. I mean, maybe we could, create something that's a little more attractive for them. And the other issue would be the kind of subcontractors that we have in your area of electrical engineering. I don't know if it is that we don't have a lot of the smaller, medium-sized vendors, would you say, in your area?
We have about 8 vendors on contractors list, as I'm seeing. They're all
in that
relative in size.
They're more medium or smaller, correct?
Small to me, correct.
Right. So I guess we should kind of ponder that as we move forward in terms of breaking down, number one, the cost, and then secondly, I don't know how in fact we were able to get the list, but as we create additional lists, if we could grow the numbers of medium and smaller people who could, or companies in other words, who could also be included in.
so we can grow it and look at those things moving forward.
Certainly, Commissioner Davis, that's something that the Bureau will explore.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Dr. Davis, that is a very good point. Perhaps when the community level contracting team convenes again, and I imagine Commissioner Reyes and yourself will probably convene, that maybe that's something we need to explore and see if there's any policies around that we should put in place to build some parameters, or not have the parameters. So I would maybe it's a point of discussion to discuss all of this. It's a new program, so we're trying to figure out what works, right? And so this is part of what works and what doesn't work. So I would strongly suggest that there be some conversation behind this and continue this and see what we can do to make it better.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right, colleagues. Thank you, Mr. Flamenco. Have a good week. Appreciate your time. And I think that is the last of our community level contracting reports. I believe so. Checking in on Dr. Campos. Are you back, Dr. Campos?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Dr. Campos, have we cleared today's desk?
Yes, we have.
Great. Thank you. It is now, I don't have the time, you guys. It is 12:05 on today, Wednesday, October 12th. 2022. Our meeting is officially adjourned, everyone. Have a good rest of the day. I'm very glad we were able to get our business done, and looking forward to always being good stewards of our city. Thank you, everyone.